Hello, hello, hello.
Hello.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to class.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening. Yes, Ona. Ona, your name still has not changed.
It hasn't changed.
You remain Ona.
I remain Iramuseli.
Ona Iramuseli. All right, guys. What are we doing today? Let me share screen so you can see me. What we are doing today. And then we are looking at we are doing a lecture notes 22 model. This class is DevOps, right? DevOps1. And then this is our notes. DevOps1 model. So do you remember where we stopped?
Yeah, we are starting all over today from the VSCode. You said the other one we did through
We're starting all over.
Yeah.
What are we starting all over?
From DevOps1.
Yeah, this is DevOps1 notes. We're already midway through training. What are we starting all over?
You said, the one you used through the. You said we'll start everything through from the Jenkins on VSCode.
What is everything? You define everything. It's definitely not starting from.
No.
I think we finished Maven. We're starting from Jenkins today.
Oh, okay. Have we logged into Jenkins before?
No.
Oh, wow.
Yes, we have logged into Jenkins.
But we use through we didn't use through the VSCode.
What Mr. Ona is saying is that we use we went to AWS, use a virtual server to install Jenkins, and
so we set up the Jenkins server, everything built from scratch using EC2. Now, what he means by starting all over is we want to repeat that task, this time working from our VS Code.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's fine, but let's do it. Let's do it. It's just that I deliberately went that way so that you can see how it is built from scratch. VS Code is such that once you install it and everything is working, it's there forever, just like your system. So we'll go through the note, but you may not enjoy it like you did the other one because it's already set up. And I use it for other classes. So, well, let's say the best that you can do, working from VS Code, which I highly recommend, that you do your continuous integration from your VS Code. And then when it comes to deployment, that is when you need to go to cloud and set up your. All right. So let us do VS Code now, which is not common. Luckily, okay. More story. Are we ready? Let's go. So I go to what's this class? And then we'll go here and then we'll set up where's that one?
Sorry to interrupt you. I think there is one guy who's trying to join the class. Can you let him in?
Okay. Okay, so listen to Jenkins. I don't see anybody. Am I setting the wrong place? Nobody's waiting.
Yeah, anyway, maybe he's using the wrong link. He says I'm waiting to get in.
Yeah, share the right link please on the floor. All right.
No,
So
I'm in already. I'm in already.
Okay. So we go to lecture notes, we go to 23 DevOps project. So your class is November class. I'll just delete all of this. Maybe one of them. So let's create a project. This is starting from VSCode. So let's create a project, new, and then new folder. What do you want to call it? Jenkins. Well, let's give it a give me a name. Project 1, for example. All right. Now I open project 1. I would need the key pair that I use to connect to machines in cloud. I'll need the key pair in this folder. Where's my key pair? So I go look for my key pair, November, it's actually in numbers. Let me just keep looking, November class key pair, November class. November class. I'm going to clear all of this soon. I'll have less to find to see. November. Okay, let me just continue. November class key pair. This is November. Okay, so let's use another method. View detail. All right, so I'm looking for November. That was the name. That was it, November. Oh. Where are you? Yeah, I'm already in the file location. You're here, Control C. So I copy this. I take this file. Control C, and then I go to my project 1, the project folder, and I put it there. Now I'm ready to go into my VSCode because I know I'll be SSHing from there. So I'm all right. So I close this and then go into my VSCode. Whatever project I was doing, I'll say close this one. When it's close folder, you want to save changes. Okay. All right. So let's open a new project now that we just created. So file, open. You remember the name of the folder we created earlier for the project? Project 1. Project 1, select. All right. And the file that we copied into it is right here. Ready. Have we installed Jenkins here before? No.
You mean on VS Code?
No,
on
no.
VS Code.
No,
Okay.
No.
All right, let's install Jenkins. Let's install the tools that let's set it up like we did the first. All right, so we'll come to the terminal, and then we go to any of them. Let me use this one, Ubuntu 22.04. You already know how to install that. I hope you know how to install that, right?
Yeah.
All right. So what are we? Print working directory. We're in project 1, ls-l, class 1. Exactly what we did here, Windows. But we don't really need Windows. So I'm going to cover that so that we can focus on it. Whatever we do here is using the different operating systems we're actually using. All right, clear screen. What do I want to do? I want to switch. Yeah, I can stay here. I want to set up my local system, my laptop for the job that we did last time. Right, so I'll need my notebook. If I go home, the first thing I want to do after all of this theory is set up Git, right? Git is the first tool that I need for my. All right, so look at it. Can you see? No. Can you see? Are you seeing this? I need you to see this so that I can be copy and paste.
Yes, sir, we do.
Okay. All right, so clear. What I want to do here is what I want to do here is install JIT, but this is Ubuntu. Normally JIT comes into Ubuntu. So let's see if JIT is already installed. So it will be JIT ---- version. So JIT is already installed. No need to install. All right. So the next thing I want to do is let me follow the steps anyway. Control-C, Control-V. We've done Linux, so we don't need to be explaining the command from our own. Control-C, Control-V. That is preparing to install an application. So preparing to install a package. You normally would update and upgrade, especially the update. So it updates your repository. Whatever your system would need that is not already there, it connects to the internet and put them in your system. All right. Like we said, JIT is already installed, but if JIT was not installed, I'll just do sudo apt install JIT. All right. So if I copy and I do that, it tells me it's already installed or it's installed. All right. So if I do JIT ---- version, I'm going to see. All right. The next thing I want to do now is clone the repository. Clone the repository. So I have this repository. So I go to GitHub where I have my repositories, which you have all boxed. So which is github.com. That is my account. Of the many repositories that I have, I want to use this one. This one. So I take this and I come to code and I say replicate. So I take my HTTPS link, this one. I copy and I go back to my VSCode and I say clone that repository. So I'm going to say clone. I mean, the command is git clone. Then I put here what I copied from there. I press enter. And my repository is cloned. All right, from the central repo to my system. So now I have a local repository. Right. So this is the local version of what I have in the collaborative cloud-based repo. All right. So I'm done here. So I go back to my note and continue. So we just completed this part. All right. So probably I can focus on. All right. So if I do ls -l, I'm going to see that the repository that I cloned is right there. You want to go into it? Let's go into it. See the DevOps. This is ls -l. This is the repo. All right. ls -la. This is the repo. All right. So blah blah git. This git tells me the .git tells me that git is already initialized, and this is where my local repository is inside that hidden directory. So I have a working repository right here, but I have a local repository, working directory right here, but local repository in there, hidden. Okay, so if that was not there, what I'll do now is I'll tell the system I want to start using git, ensure that you are ready for git. I want to start using git command and using git push, pull, commit, and do all, perform all git related commands. So the command will be git init. All right. But like I said, in this case, because of the existence of the .git folder, we already had it. So it's not just reinitializing what already exists. Right? But if it did not exist, I'll do that. It existed because it's an existing repository that we have that has been worked on. All right. So what do I want to do from this point? I want to do ls -l. Of course, I can play around with all of the git commands, but I don't really need them right now. Everything we practice during training, I only need them when there's trouble and I need to troubleshoot what I need to do. But what I really want to do now is to build my code because I have my codes here. What are my codes, by the way? They are inside here, inside webapp.1. Let me just quickly show you that. cd web app ls-l, right? I have two powerful files there. Form.xml, which is the powerful file that Mervin uses to build your codes, and then source, which is where your code is. So cd source ls-l, there's main cd main. This just happens to be the way this particular repository was built and arranged. I mean, sorry, this code. All codes don't have to follow this exact pattern of main being inside source, being inside web app. No, different programs for different applications. It's up to the programmer and up to other factors relating to the specific particular application to know how to arrange it. So we'll just follow what they have. All right, so what we have here, ls-l. There's another directory. Okay, let's go into it. Web app ls-l. What do we have? We have index.jsp. This is supposed to be the home page. I mean, anywhere you have index, I mean, index is about the only one you are using. It is the home page of the web application. The web application may be doing stuff, but this is the user interface through which it interacts with the user to get inputs and then feed the back-end application to do the work and then maybe append to database like you will see later in another application. All right, but for now, this is the application. This is what we're interested in. Let's do something. Let's just play around because we just go straight to what we're doing. We'll finish in 1 hour. Okay, so let's just go. Let's VI into index.net. And this is what we have. This is the final test. This is going to, oh, this was what I did. No problem. So let's edit. Let's edit. Let's do I. This is why you learned that. So let us remove all of this. Let's do something. You can just do anything actually. We don't have to. Hello. Wow. Okay. So we are done. We have edited. We have modified the file. Right? So save, quit. This file that we have modified, the central repository is not aware where we made the clone from. It's not aware that we have modified the file. And therefore, the other 15 developers that are connected to this repo, they are not aware. What just happened was specifically in my local, in fact, in my working directory. Even my Git is still not aware that I made it. So let us push this change to the local repo so that by next time we'll come here and check that file here. This is the file in local repo. Instead of reading this one, it will now be reading hello world, which is the modification. We'll just be there. All right. So to do that, to achieve that, we are going to do 3 commands. Git add. You could do git add all, meaning all the changes that I have made, whatever file I have edited, whatever file I have removed, whatever file I've added, add all these changes from my working directory, add it to some temporary place where I will tell you what to do. But in this case, if I wanted to add, if I had changed so many files, but what I really want to add right now is just the file that I am interested in, which is index.jsp, I will mention the name of it, right? So coincidentally, it's the same thing. This is all that I have done. So if I say git add this or git add dot is the same. Anyway, so I use git add command. So that file now has been moved from my working directory where I am seeing it right now to some staging place, all right? If I now do git commit -m, and then I put in quote my, let me explain what this commit does. My first change to index to, yeah, to home page. All right. So by git commit, what have I done? I have now moved the file, the changes. I have now committed the changes from this temporary place that I added it to where now? To my local repository. It's now comfortably in my local repo. So my git in my local repo is now aware that I have changed something in this. All right, but I don't want to end it. I want to push it all the way to my central repo over the internet to this cloud. This is another cloud. It may not be AWS, but it's cloud. Right? So that command to do that is git push origin master. By the way, let me quickly show you what is origin master. Push to origin. Where's my origin? To know that the command is git remote -v. So when I say origin, this is the place that I'm talking about. Is it not the same repository that I'm interested in that we clone from? Yes, it is. If it was not, then we'll detach from here and then connect to the actual repo, which I believe you know what to do. But let me not go too far from the objective. So this is just to show you that when I say git, sorry, let me relax a little. When I say git push origin master, this is the origin that we are referring to. That's what I'm doing. Now let's do git push origin. Which of the many branches in origin? In this case, there's only one branch. But if there were many branches, then I'm referring to this particular branch called master. Look at it. So this is where I want the push to go. Origin, this master. All right. So for that reason, I'm going to say origin master. All right. So I press enter. It says, okay, if you are the owner of the account and you know you are the owner, then show me your ID. The ITern. That's my ID and my password. I don't know it offhand. So I come here and I look for my password. Here. So I copy, Control C, and I go there and I Control V. When you do Control V, nothing will appear. Just right click once. That's it. And then you press enter. And then it tells me that I have done the work. I have pushed that to from master to master. And these are the commit ID. All right. So if you want, you may not really have time for this during production. There's enough of. You can just come here and see. Well, they said they have put something to you. Did you receive it? And then you can just click here, and it tells you, yes, I did receive the push 3 minutes ago. All right. And the commit, my first change to home page, just like we said, actually reflecting. All right. So this is how to, the interview question that somebody was sharing, that is the answer. This is how to push from your local repo to your central repo. In this case, our central repo. All right. That's about all we want to do.
Can I ask a question before you clear the screen?
Yes.
Okay, sir. This is a revision, obviously, but
yeah.
I just want to ask for clarification. So I know in order for us to get to where you take us to, we have to do git add space dot. But in this case, we did git add index dot. So are they interchangeably?
Yes, I explained that. I said dot means all the changes that I have made to all the files, whether I added files, whether I removed everything. And then in this case, I'm saying specifically, if I have made any other change, specifically this file.
All right, thank you. I didn't get that. Thank you, sir.
All right. Yeah, good question. You can interrupt professionally to ask questions. All right. Any other question? All right. So, yeah, of course, there are other things we can do with git. Like, was it Yomi made us understand that those other commands are really useful in operation. But right now, our interest is just to go and build. To build, we need a tool. for building Java code, because this program is a Java code. This is Java. How do I know? ITern. All right, where's the repository? Okay. So you will see, look at it, Java, it's a Java code. All right, so I need a Java build tool. What comes to mind is Maven. So let me go there and say, I need, now that I have code, I need to build this code. All right, Maven for Java, but do we even have the Java that we want to, the environment for Java to operate? Let's check. Java --version. Oh, okay. In this case, I do have Java. That's the warning I gave you, that I already have my JSC set up. But in any case, let's pretend we don't have Java. So this is the command to load Java. Okay, so in your case, please do not forget that in your own case, once you do this once, it will be there forever until you change it. But initially, don't forget that you need to connect your VSCode environment to your GitHub account. Copying this command and replacing your own username, replacing this with your own username, and then replacing this with the email address. All right, like we did in the. All right, so these are the other commands that I was referring to if you wanted to check. All right, so the next thing now is to go to Java. I mean, go to Maven. Yeah. Yeah, that was it. Come to Maven and then install Maven. Yeah. All right, but to install Maven, following all of this, we first of all need to install Java. So I'm just going to come here and say Ctrl+C, and then let's clear the screen so that it's, and then do Ctrl+V. Because anytime I want to install a new app, I'll follow the. All right, and then this is the command to install Java. So I'll copy this, Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V, and then it will install Java for you. That's it. All right, that's how to install Java. In this case, it was because Java is already installed. Would have taken longer, but Java is already installed, so just there's nothing to install already. But in your case, it will take a few minutes, and then Java will be. All right. So now that Java is installed, you now have the precedence, the dependency that Maven needs to work, which is Java. So let's clear the screen, just so you can be following what I'm doing. Okay. So to install Maven, I have the command here for you. All right, but if you come back here in 4 months' time and it's no longer working, then you go to this URL and find out, oh, what is the latest thing that they have added? And then they will give you, because while we're talking about 3.8 now, it could be 3.9 or 3.7. Anyway, so you take all of this, you may copy them all at once, Ctrl+C, or you take them line by line, line 1, copy paste, line 2, copy and paste, line 2. In my own case, and somebody said this revision, so let's go ahead and do that. All right, so Java is installed. And then once Java is installed, I'll go to the directory, because right here I said download that from there, untar the download, and then copy from, here to here. So let me go there and see if it was actually copied. Okay, so did you copy ls -r? Oh yes, it's there. I said extract and copy, it was copied. All right. Again, I want to install one more time. I'm going to do sudo apt update, Ctrl+C. I do that every time I need to install something. It's recommended. It's not like it will not work, but all right. Then I do upgrade. Yeah, I may or may not, because I only just did upgrade 2 minutes ago. All right, not to set bad precedent for you. Let me do it anyway. And it tells me, well, you only just did it. So not there. Sudo apt open. Okay. And then we install maybe Control C, Control V. Where Control Z? Control C. All right, so that's how to install maybe. Any question? In my own case, it tells me maybe it's already installed. And then to find out if it's installed, it will be maybe minus. Right, and it tells me yes, maybe. Any question, guys? Are you following? Do you not see how everything we did online the last time we can also do on our VSCode? In a local system, we don't have to log into cloud. Everything fine so far?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, let's go. Now that we have Maven, let us build. This is not the real build, this is just to show you that Maven. We're going to do the real building. But in any case, so we'll just say Maven. But look at ls -l. The code we want to build is not here, so it will not build. Control C, Control V. No. I'm meant to copy this Maven package. Control C, Control V. All right. So it's going to give error because you are not in the right. Maven has not found the code to build. All right. So let's go to the place where the code is. CD. Right. It's not as easy as cloud where you already know CD. Yes. Yeah. Where are they? So instead of that, just open a new terminal and they automatically. What were we using? Version. Let's -l. It takes us here now, right? So the CD DevOps ls -l. This is where the code is, but this is still not. I cannot find the source here. So CD web ls -l. Yes, this is where the code. Anywhere I find my home file, and alongside the source of the actual code. All of these are also part of the code, but for the purpose of building, they are not relevant now. Later on, when we get to DevOps, CI/CD. So this is the right place to be. So now that I'm in the right place, I can now use Maven package. That's the command, package. Right? And then the code is packaged.
Zero failure.
Sorry? Yeah, 0 error, right? Yeah. It means everything.
It's gonna build.
Yeah, he's building. He's using build. All right, so build success. All right, so we have built, and then the output, the outcome, the result is that file, and then it is saved here for you. All right, this is as far as we can go from the command line interface. All right, we'll not enjoy work going further with this file working here. All right, so the next thing we want to do is bring in Jenkins, the monitor, the coordinator, the supervisor, the integrator, the center man that will coordinate everything, right, from this point. So let's bring in Jenkins. We'll install Jenkins so that we can start to use Jenkins. Again, we'll follow the commands. Jenkins now. All right, to install Jenkins, let me mark. To install Jenkins, what we do is copy and paste entire paragraph together. Right, so I copy Control C, and I come here. Let me just clear the screen so you can follow. And then move this to the bottom, and then do Control V. First thing, Jenkins is installed. Jenkins has installed. What's the next thing to do? All right. So Jenkins is installed here. Was it not in this class? Okay. That's where Jenkins is. So since I'm working from my VS Code, I'll follow this set of instructions. All right. So the next thing I want to do, having installed Jenkins, is to start my Jenkins. It doesn't start automatically. All right. So if I now say sudo service Jenkins start, it will start Jenkins. Let me see. Control C. Instead of start, let's say status. Will you see Jenkins is not running? Jenkins is installed, but not running. All right, so to run Jenkins, let's do sudo. Actually, since I'm working as root, I may not use the develop. I can just do Jenkins what? Start. All right. And then now Jenkins is running. So if I repeat, what is your status, Jenkins? It's going to tell me
It's not running.
It should be running. So what did I even do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct
Let's
Java
see.
version found, setting up mass file limit.
Yeah, don't worry, clear. So let's copy that command again.
Should be running.
You may now start Jenkins on your local server by typing Control C and then Control V. All right. So starting Jenkins automation. All right. So Jenkins should be running. Jenkins should be running. Okay, so let me switch user to, yeah, there's no Ubuntu here, this is my local system, so it's Akin. So let me work as Akin, and then let's try sudo service control C, and then control V. Password.
Yeah.
All right. So starting Jenkins, automation on server Jenkins, already Java. Yeah, this thing. Why are you hungry? All right, so it worked the first time. Let's see. I expect to get my prompt back. Let's give it something. All right, but haven't done that. Jenkins should be running now. Yes, I have my prompt back. I should have got the question. Jenkins is running now.
Can we use that Jenkins start to show that it's running? The command you've also used.
Yes.
Yes, that. I mean status.
It's still saying Jenkins is not running. I can't explain that right now.
Yeah,
it's running.
I saw.
But, yeah.
Wow. It should be running. I just know.
Yeah, it is running. Okay, so to show that it's running, so we'll now do local host.
Yes.
8080 because we're working from local. So let's go to browser and do local host, Control V.
Just look at what 8080. Yeah, it's up.
It takes me into. Okay, so did we already sign into Jenkins together? You already know what we provided we provided the user. Yeah, we did that. Yeah, it's just because I'll be using Jenkins. This Jenkins is a father, it's not a child. It's really old. But luckily, we're able to see that the first time to present us with a URL that we need to come back here to to cat and then copy the password, paste. Do you remember, guys?
Yes, but it's different from the way now. It's not. I don't know. It's a little bit different from when you did it.
Through the command line.
Yes, I'm explaining. Yeah, that's what I'm explaining. That one is not here because I've been using this. My Jenkins is not new.
Yeah.
I've been logging into Jenkins for how many? The Jenkins I'm setting up here is not fresh Jenkins. It's already existed. So that screen comes up when you are installing Jenkins for the first time. So I'm explaining that the reason it didn't come up is because these Jenkins are. In fact, I've already deployed some projects on Jenkins.
When we do ours, it's going to be different from. It will be like the other way you did the last.
Yeah, once you do yours for the first time.
Yes.
Like the experience you had. Then after that, it will become like mine, where it will not work or not. All right. So as for the status that did not show, we'll look for the. So it just means that's not the correct command to show status. And this command, all of these commands will work on EC2, not on local system. All right. So this will work on EC2, not on local system. But ideally, this is the command to check the status of them, but it works only on. Let's try it. If we say sudo systemctl status of Jenkins, it's going to tell us it's not going to work. So in place of that, we are looking for. I should have that command that you can use to. Okay. Yeah, but it's running anyway. This is another method. Apart from using this command to start Jenkins, you may also use this command. I always told you there's no one way. So you cd there, and then you run this. All right, but if we're not working from localhost, you'll be entering the IP address of the EC2 in order to access. What are we? Okay, so you'll be entering the public address of this, right? Uninstall Jenkins, stop Jenkins. All right, so the only part we are missing is that initial window where, let me see if we can, are you sure? It's not as easy as to work with VSCode as it is with the other one. So I have the commands that work for VSCode as distinct from the command that work for here. So this one will not work here. Systemctl does not work on VSCode. It works only on. Okay. Let me see. There's a way for me to make you experience that here. I can, but it's a long process. I'll go and look for the configuration file and tell the configuration file to reconfigure Jenkins like I'm starting it for the first time. All right, but it's a long process.
So you says systemctl will not work?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Will not work on my VSCode, but it works on EC2.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. All right, guys. I hope that did not leave you confused. If you understand everything we've done so far, we're now ready to go into Jenkins to start using Jenkins. All right, so let's go into Jenkins. So go into Jenkins. Let's go in. This is Jenkins. In fact, I'm not confused. Let me just delete all of these projects. Let's delete project. Delete project. Delete. Delete. All right, if I want, I can restart Jenkins. Let me go and restart and see. And come back to. Come back here and see sudo what's that called? Jenkins start, Jenkins stop. All right, stopping Jenkins. And then if I come back to the dashboard, this is the same Jenkins. You just did the CLI and the other one is the dashboard.
Yeah,
Let
and
me go back.
It's give okay. That means the command is working.
Yes, we will know here. So we come here and we say localhost.
You want to refresh?
Which Jenkins is this?
Some different port has been open sometimes. It's just
Let me close that and make sure that. So let's close that. I'm working from here. Let me just make sure we're using the same port, the same. This one is this is good. ls minus l. We'll just build this one. That's why the target is showing, wasn't showing. Okay, so stop Jenkins then. Why are you still working there? You shouldn't be working here. Local. The item. Let me find out what's not working right. If I stop Jenkins, then that Jenkins should stop there. It shouldn't be allowing me to go. Systemctl store. Sudo service Jenkins stop. Sudo service Jenkins.
Yeah, it's the same service.
Yeah.
And it's
Jenkins
okay. It's okay.
service.
It means that it received the service that is Jenkins to stop.
Stopping it. So if you're stopping it, then
maybe it's not entirely shut down. It's just shutting down a little by little. I don't know.
okay, so username admin sign. Okay. Let me see if I can remove this Jenkins.
Can this be cache memory that is bringing this one?
No, this is the real Jenkins because I was able to log.
Mm-hmm.
Let me remove that Jenkins. Not satisfied. So where is Jenkins installed on this system? So we said that on this system, Jenkins is installed. We said when we installed Jenkins, that Jenkins was installed. Yeah. Control. All right, let me just look around. I have to install Jenkins. Control C. Control V. No, that I said copy. Control C. Control V. On install, what would you do? No command like that. After what's the word for uninstall? Okay, I can't be googling here. That's just the problem. So, okay. Can you Google what the command to uninstall Jenkins?
Right, sir.
Ubuntu. So sudo apt. I expected that would be uninstall or remove. Okay, it's remove. I got it. So is Jenkins installed now? Jenkins -- version. Jenkins not found. So we have removed that Jenkins. We have removed Jenkins. Okay, so are you still loading here? Where's Jenkins? Okay, so this is not our Jenkins. Where is this one from? Okay. Okay, I think I know where the problem is coming.
Might be another port.
There's where's that command? Control and you're not here. Sorry. Okay, don't worry. I think I know where the problem is coming from. So let us come back here and use this version. ls-l. And then do have Jenkins here. Jenkins -- version. This is the one. All right, so let's uninstall Jenkins. So we said the command is what? Jenkins
Sudo apt.
Yeah, sudo what?
Sudo apt. Then minus get remove. Then minus purge Jenkins.
Yeah, let me just copy. So we said what was the install command?
Oh. Check your chat.
So install Jenkins was install Jenkins. If I didn't delete something. Control Z. So this is
sudo apt install Jenkins. Then minus.
Let me put it in note for you. To uninstall Jenkins will be that from your VSCode, and then will be remove. All right, so I've copied that. Control C. And I come here, Control V. All right, so what do you have now? All right, good.
Good.
All right. Now we're talking to another Jenkins from another. So to remove this confusion, let me please remind me to always use for your class, because I have different classes where I use it. For you, let us always use any of them actually.
Yeah,
that. Because you'll be using this one in class. Let's use
they are the same thing. They are the same 20.4, 20.4. The only different one is 18.04. Oh, 22, sorry.
22, let's use 22.
Yeah.
Anyone is good.
Let's consistently use 22.04.
Yeah.
All right, so now we have the opportunity to restore Jenkins so that we can experience that.
It's a good learning step. You know?
Yeah, I mean, these are normal. If you don't have this and everything runs smoothly, then. So let's just confirm that Jenkins is still not okay. Jenkins -- version. All right, now let us install Jenkins. All right, so we'll go back to install Jenkins and then we'll copy all of this, Control C, and then we'll come here and do Control V. All right, good. Now that we have Jenkins installing, what's the next thing? We'll start Jenkins on our VS Code. How do we start Jenkins? We start Jenkins like this. Sudo VSCode. See.
Sudo service taking start.
All right, so let me move this so that we can see what's going on. And then if you want, you can.
Can we first check the status before we start?
The status, Jenkins is not running, and then start. All right. So status again. Status again. Jenkins is running. All right. So this is normal behavior.
Yes, correct.
All right. So we'll come here now. I will say local port 8080. And luckily.
Yeah, it's coming up.
Yeah. So fine. All right. So for the other part, I actually have that one somewhere in the file where I can go to make it do a new installation, but let's just go with it. It's good enough.
Yeah, it's the same thing. We already experienced it in the last class.
Yeah, that's it.
It's just always.
All right, for this one, I have so many projects. So let me just delete them one by one so I don't confuse you with many projects. So delete pipeline. Delete pipeline. Delete. You'll be creating your own equivalent of delete project. Delete project. And then delete project. Delete pipeline. And then delete. All right, guys. So this is Jenkins. The first thing you want to do when you come to Jenkins is set up the environment variables. And to do that, we go to dashboard. We go to manage Jenkins. We go to global tool configuration. All right, brings us here. So we tell Jenkins, you'll be coordinating. Did we do this last time? We did it, right?
Yes.
Okay. So the explanation will be very.
Yes. So even if it's still the same way it does when you are using VSCode and when you are using the.
No, once you enter Jenkins, this is constant now. This is the same for everything. It's just the configuration.
So just like the other time, you have to copy the password, the code, and everything.
Yes, it's exactly the same thing. Because we're no longer in the CLI now. We're no longer in the share prompt where commands may vary. But we're now inside Jenkins. So inside Jenkins is the same. Once you enter the room, it's the same, but it's just the door to the room that may be different depending on what kind of light. Sometimes you see it as green, sometimes you see it as yellow, depending on what. All right, so it's the same. So we just want to tell Jenkins, this is where to find our Java. We'll be needing Java, this is where to find it. So we come here and we say, Jenkins, this is our Java. So we come here and we say, where's our Java? Here. Java installation, and then we'll call it a name, my Java, or any name you want, and then you find out where is Java installed on this system. So to find out where Java is installed, I'm sorry, I'm just taking this. So it will be Maven -- version. It will tell you where Maven is and where Java is, right? This is where Java is. So you take the URL for Java installation, and then you put it there. And then you do that for, we're not using Credo, we're using Maven. So for Maven, you come here and you say Maven installation, give it a name so that you know what to call when you are calling Maven to work for you. And then you say install automatically. And then as for JIT, don't even do anything about it, don't worry about it. So you set your 3 environmental variables, all right? We already said this, so we're just going to leave without it. All right, so that's the first thing you do. Now that you have done that, let us start to use Jenkins. This all will be for the rest of DevOps until we move out of here to Kubernetes. This will be easy. All right. So let's begin to use Jenkins now.
Mr. Akin, just quick question. So
Yeah.
what if on the VS Code it shows that Jenkins is the correct Jenkins version is found, Jenkins is running, but you go on the net, it's not loading up. What might be the problem? Just
On VS Code, right?
Yeah. So mine it shows that Jenkins is running, but I went on the local host that link, and it's still not showing it. It's not loading up. So I just want to know if there's something.
Where's your VS Code? Is it on your local system or on an EC2?
On the local system. It's supposed to be EC2, right?
No.
It's on local system.
I want to local system. Yeah, you can also do that on EC2.
But it's
and
on the
then you
local
come here.
system right now.
So you come here.
Yes.
And then you type localhost, and this is what's the error?
Hold on. Give me a second. It just says that if you spell it correct. Sorry.
Yeah, I have an error. It's asking me to enter the administrative password.
No, that's not error.
For me, it just saying sites can be reached. That's all.
Port 8080?
Yeah, port 8080.
In your local system. What port was blocked? If you were on a cloud, if you were in cloud now, say go and open your security group.
Yeah, I'll try and see if I have that. Okay.
No, on the local system, no, you don't have that.
You know, probably the system have a security feature. Like,
sorry, I didn't hear that.
Your system have any security?
Yeah, I'm going to check if any.
Yeah, so that again we
it could be the security features blocking it.
The system.
It could be what?
Security feature on the system. Try to
what? It could be. I didn't get that.
It could be security system feature on the system itself.
System can anyway. I mean, whatever you can bring on board. Yeah, let him try everything. But after class,
maybe you need to convert the local host to public IP.
No, you don't. For this simple case now. You know what? Put the screenshot of your error there so that we can.
Yes.
Okay, I'll do that.
I'll help you troubleshoot.
Okay.
I did it. This will just go. All right. So let's continue for now. So let's see what our first project is. We did this already. Okay, yeah, I remember we did this. So let's move from there. Did we build? Even if we did, let's build now. Let us build.
We just built.
Okay.
On the VSCode.
No, not on VMcode.
Yeah, that was.
So let's build here now. Let's build our first project in.
Okay, we are here to build here today.
So let us build that. Hope you can see. Let me close one of them. All right. So let's build. We go to project, new item, and then we add. Let's call it any name. What's this name? Let's call it. What are we doing now? Let's just call it package, and then we'll call it freestyle, and then we say, freestyle? Yeah. And then we say okay. Okay. So what are we doing? We have a code. We have a code in our GitHub repository. Let us clone that code, that repository after. So we'll come here and we'll say git. And then we take we go to our repository, and then this is the code we're interested in. Take it, and then we'll clone it. We'll take the URL there, come back here and put it there. That's all. That's all we need to give to Jenkins to clone that repo. It's done. So if we stop there now, I will just you used to disturb me like this. Okay, can I hide it? Let me see if I can hide it. Hide clothing. Yeah. I think it's doing. Yes. All right. So that's all we'll do. So if we now say apply, we'll say okay. And then we'll say build now. What do we expect? We expect Jenkins to simply clone that. Look at it, it has done it. So we'll come here. This is the output. What did Jenkins do? He simply cloned the repository. That's all we ask you to do. We say clone it. That's cloned. All right. So let's build on that. Having cloned it, we now want to tell Jenkins, build the code that you just cloned. To do that, we'll go back to the package we called the project package. We'll go back to package, we'll say configure. And then we say, yes, I know that you have already cloned it. Now, what I need you to do is build it. So we'll come here and we'll say build steps. There are so many things so many possibilities. But of all of this, I want to build using Maven. All right. Maven, I will say that Maven that I configured earlier on when I told you where to find Maven, use it. What is the objective? What's the goal? I want to package. So you say package. All right. Package what? Package the repository that you clone there, the codes. And that's it. Apply. Save. That's it. And then we say build. When we say build, is building build number 2 is going on. And then it's a good practice to watch and see what's happening so that when the error, you know where the error is coming from. Now it says, I have successfully built the code for you. And I've saved the code for you here. Success. So exactly what it did on the CLI prompt, and I told you that's not the best place to see. This is a better place to see. And then once it builds your code, it actually saves it for you. So if you take one step back to package and you see workspace, this is the place where it saves the job that it built for you. So you have under package, you have different directories, G. In fact, this is your repository. So if you go to your target, which is a new directory that is created every time you build your code, the number 1 file you are going to see there is your artifact. In this case, addressbook.com. Was this what we built? Let me see my code. Addressbook.com.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Yeah, okay. In any case, you can't be wrong. The repository that I provided for it to build, this is the result, okay? All right, so this is our interest. But this is not our only interest. There are other things we should be interested in now that we're in Jenkins. Right now, we have target and we have this file. This is our build artifact. Every time we say artifact, this is it. All right, we have built our first .war file. Any question? And that's what the note explains here. Look at the note. And then we say, we did this last time. You can go back there. I think I need to reorganize, rearrange this note. All right, but that was our artifact. All right, the next thing I want to show you, let me see if I can rearrange it. Yeah, we did this already. Why is this one? Yeah, with me, Control X. And then we did that when we got into Jenkins. That was like the first one we did. Before we even go to Jenkins job, why don't I tell you to do that here? Okay. B, yeah, do that there. Then after you do that, you can begin the job. And then after that, this thing that I want to explain to you is already yeah. Let me take the whole of this. This is what I want to explain to you. That diagram you are seeing, I mean, what you are seeing right now. That's it. So let me cut it, Control X, and put it in the place where it's. Yeah, I put it right on there. Yeah, let's call that our first job. So let's put it here. Control V. As a matter of fact, this particular one, copy, and then yeah, we just did this, right? We just completed this. All right. Okay, guys, let me show you one more thing. That'll help me explain the next thing. Okay, so let's do this. Let's do this project. Freestyle project. Let's do this one. Let's call this project 2. In fact, let's just bear with me. Control N. I don't know if you saw the projects I posted on your platform. This is the one. Let's do this one now. Number 3. Control C. All right, so Control C. Let's go and do that one. All right, Control V. Okay, so deploy a freestyle project in Jenkins to show how you may use Maven to publish and view code analysis reports. So apart from Jenkins using Maven to build your codes, did we explain all of this so I don't waste time, right? Yeah, we did. And you answered question about compile, code review, test, code coverage, and package. Did you already do it?
Yes, we did.
Okay. Okay. So no need to waste time. So we already saw that apart from building, Jenkins does. Yeah, I remember that you participated actively on answering those questions. All right. So let me show you now how Maven will do that using this project. All right, let's do it. So the first thing we want to do is install this plugin. So let us go and install that plugin to help us view the project. So we'll go to Jenkins, Control S, go to Jenkins. I'm coming back to explain this. That's the reason I was doing all of this adjustments. So we'll go to Manage Jenkins. We go to Manage Plugins. And then we say Available Plugins. Let's look for that. What was the name of that plugin? Warnings. Okay, it's not showing under available. If it was showing under available, I'll take it and I'll say install it. The reason it's not showing under available is because it's already installed. So if I go to installed, I am going to see that, give me 1 second. If I go to installed, I'm going to see that the plugin I'm interested in, Warnings Next Generation plugin, is already installed. In your own case, you'll find it under available, and then you click install, and then it will install and do not show under here. All right, so that's all that I need to install. Now that I've installed it, let's go and do the project. So I go back to Manage Jenkins, and I say New Project. What am I building? Let me call it code analysis report, for example. I use freestyle again. I come here and I say, okay. So what project do I want to analyze? Any project is okay. So I go to my source code, I go to Git. Let me quickly go to my repository and see of the many projects, which of them I want to do. Let me go to DevOps code demo, DevOps class code, DevOps code demo. Okay, let's do this. Let's use that. All right, so I take this repository and say, I want to build this code. So I copy, and then I go back to 1 second. Hide, okay. Okay, so I go back to Jenkins and I provide the URL. All right, that is the Git. That's it. So this time, I'm going to say build. Build step, use Maven. And what is the goal? Look at the goal this time. It's slightly more detailed than the first goal. So this time I'm going to say, my goal is clean install. Show me the check style of the, check the style of the code using the plugin check style. Check the programming mistake, detect the programming mistake in the code using the plugin PMD. Find bugs in the code using the plugin find bugs. But all of these plugins are already embedded in the single plugin that we installed earlier on, that we called warning name generation. That was why we installed the plugin, because all of those plugins that we need is already inside it. So this is the command I'm going. Clean install will not just package, but it will perform all 5 steps of Maven. Instead of saying package, I'm going to say clean install. But I'm really interested in this. Give me all of this. So I'll copy that, Control C, and I'll say my goal for this project is to check the code, check style, programming mistakes, and find bugs in the code. You got that? Then, after you have found all of that, I'll move on to add build step. Let's go down. I'll go to post build action. Post build action. I'll click that. I say after you have done all of that and you have built the code, show it to me. So I'm going to take, let's read. Record compiler warnings and static analysis results. I'm interested in this. Compiler warnings, all of the warnings from the compiler and static analysis results, show them to me. So I'll take that. And there are many possibilities, so many things you can show to me. Look at them. See how powerful Jenkins can be. You can connect with all of these tools to show me what I want. But what I want specifically are just those 3. The PMD, so I look for PMD, programming mistake detection. And then I say add tool, and I look for another one. I take check style, whatever I'm interested in. All right, in this case, I already told Maven to look out for those. So I say, show me those ones. So I'll pick only those ones, because that's what Maven wants. And then what was the last one? Find box. So I click F for find box. That's it. All right. So I said, yes, check them and now display what you found. All right. So I say apply and I'll say save. I'm going to say build now. It's building the build number 1. This is the first build of that project. All right. So it's trying to do all of the job that we have asked it to do. All right. Hopefully the code is good enough for this project. Otherwise, we need to look at the code. We're taking, okay, we went through that stage. All right, that's good. All right, working. Test. That means test. So you saw that test, right? You saw it right test. So that tells you that it's carrying out test on the codes. And as a matter of fact, we are here to actually view the result of those tests that is carried out as it relates to checkbox, PMD, like you can see right now, and the style, check style of it. This is Maven working in Jenkins. Jenkins is using Maven to do this. We check style. This is fine box success. All right, let's go and see what was shown to us, the report that was shown to us. All right, so we'll go back there. And this time, you are going to see this. You see this area? It wasn't there before.
Yeah.
PMD warnings, check style warnings, find bug warnings. So it has displayed to you what you asked it to do. If you're interested, maybe you're not interested because it's just a way to generate the report for people who are interested. But if you're interested, you can click there, and then shows you this graphical report. All right, and then gives you the detailed report. It tells you here, let's just run through it, that there are 3 packages. And then there are all of these files, that package, under these categories, types. There are issues related to programming mistakes in this package. These are the issues. All right. The issues, programming mistake warnings are here, here, and here. Total of 3 places. On this application, this app, this code that you are building. No, not on the app, on the code that you are building. So there are standards that, best practices that developers must meet for there to be minimal or no errors at all. The fact that you can build the code does not mean that that all best practices have been observed. All right, so this one will tell you there are mistakes that you have. All right, if you check these files, you'll find a mistake. So it's not easy for the developers to go there and correct the mistakes categories. This clicking noise from your keyboard is really hurting my ears. That's why I muted it. If it's coming from you, please mute yourself. And then type. So let's take a look. So if we click this one, for example, error prone, empty cache. So it tells you, so we'll click that. And then it goes to the place where they avoid empty cache blocks. So the programmer now knows, the developer now knows that, oh, even though the code is working, I shouldn't have an empty space there. He will correct. All right? So that's a programming mistake. And then if you go back and look at another issue, not you as the developer, well, I'm just saying whoever is interested. And then he goes here. He's going to say that this issue is saying there are parentheses that shouldn't be there. They are useless. Remove them. All right, so that's how that works. And then the same, exactly the same for other kinds of errors. The style of the writing of the program. You want to check the style? Yes. These are the packages that are affected. You could say, this package, no problem. If it's about helper, don't worry about it. It's nothing serious. Oh, it's about the back end. This is serious. Let me see. And then you can click, and then it tells you specifically that this is the file that is affected. I mean, these are the files. Okay. Checks, coding. The coding is an important thing. For example, if that's what you see, then you check for coding, and then you can look, what's the coding mistake here? I mean, what's the coding? What style was not kept? 1930 is a magic number. Well, I don't know what that means, but coder developers, they went through training as well, so they know what it means and they know what to do to correct it. This is for them. You are checking the code. You are not meant to correct it. You are just checking. You are not actually checking. You are presenting the report. You may not be the expert to analyze the report to know what to do, but at least you know the plugin that will present it. All right, guys, did you understand that? And how that is the project, one of the projects that we go right here. We just do that, and then these are the reports, and these are the things that we just looked at. All right. Any question on that? All right. Now, the workspace. let's use that one to explain the workspace now. So if we go back here now, we now see that.
Sir, I'm sorry to bring us back, sir. I want to see that place where you write that statement that brought about the parentheses, the PMD warning. I want to see that line. Can you please help me to go back to the place again?
I don't know the exact file that I clicked to.
Well, you know, there's a place where you type clean, where you invoke the clean, the top level menu.
Oh, yeah.
targets.
Yeah,
I just want to see
configure.
that thing is beautiful. I want to see it again and again.
Okay.
Just I'm sorry, class, for drawing us back.
No problem. So where's the project, by the way? This project, yeah. Is this what you mean?
Yeah, I want to see where you write where you invoke
command.
that thing. Command, yes. You
Okay,
invoke
that's
that
under configure.
Configure, yeah. Thank you. You know, it's good
And
the way.
then,
Yes,
yeah, right?
and this list.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, goals. And these are the command that brought about those analyses. The clean, install, check, then PMD, find bugs, brought all those things to us, right?
Yes, actually did it. And then these are the command that now display them to us, this post build action.
Okay, post build action.
Yeah, now display them to us. So after you have done the analysis using this command, then show them to me using the post build analysis.
Post build. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. I'm sorry, class, to bring us back.
No problem. Yeah. All right. So yes, we're going to show you now. All of these are just presentations. They are just beautiful way, like that person observed, of presenting this thing in ways that even a non-technical person can understand that, oh, there's a problem here that needs to be solved. But the actual files that are being presented here, they are saved somewhere. And that somewhere is in your workspace. So if we go to this project, I will go to workspace, I will go to target. This is the place where the actual files that are being presented there are saved. Of course, you know your, what's our almighty artifact, our .war. So apart from that, what are the other files? Look at this. Our compiled files, the files that are compiled by Nevin. If some Elon Musk says, I want to see those files, this is where those files are saved. They are saved in classes. Compiled files. So in our own case, if we come here now, look at it. So if I say, go check the compiled files and see what, and then somebody is coming here to click here, that person does not know what is doing. This is the place where compiled files, because we say Maven performs 5 tasks. So look at the 5 different tasks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And for the artifact, it's very obvious, .war. The compiled file, this is where to look to see them. In my own case, if I go and see them now, it will not make any meaning to me. I will not even understand. But for somebody who really feels, I want to see the compiled files, what they do, that is where to go. All right? The end with class, yeah, these are compiled files. Yes, the extension is class. Anyway, like I said, I'm not here to view them and to correct them. This is purely machine to interpreter work, but that's where it is anyway. Then we now have code coverage reports. They are saved in the directory site. All right, so in your own case, if you come here, you see site. You are looking for, I want to see the code coverage report. Apart from what is displayed here, what is displayed beautifully, this is the actual place where they are saved as code coverage. How are they saved? They are saved inside code coverage, and they are saved as, let's put this in, code coverage. Yeah. So code coverage are PND files. Okay. to their PMD, code review. No, code coverage, sorry. Now, Kubernetes is just one of the plugins that is used. But like you saw there are so many other plugins. If Kubernetes does not work for our version of Java, there are other plugins we can use. It just happens to be popular. In fact, I'm going to remove it. But I'm just mentioning it because it's popular. I can add one more plugin that is compatible with Java version 11. All right. But in any case, when we're talking about code coverage, and you want to see what did the plugin find out about this code, the place to go is site directory. Site directory. All right. And then, of course, if we want to look at test case reports, we'll go to Surefire. And if we want to look at our code analysis report, we go to pmd.xml. All right. What's my pmd.xml? Go back and say, here. This place contains my code analysis. So if you present it like this, it's a bit confusing for me, right? But for programmers and technical people, I mean, basically programmers who are technical people, may not be that confusing. But if you present it the way that we saw it earlier before we came here, it may make more sense. All right, guys. So I just wanted to show you that the 5 jobs that Maven completes for you are saved in their respective directories, and to show you where those directories are and how you can access them. All right. Any question? These are the 5 directories. Any question, please? Beg you, ask question. Well, if there are no questions, let's move on. All right, so the next thing I want to show you, I'm just trying to see if I can make space for this diagram to come up. That's on. We don't even need this already. Okay, came up. Awesome. Okay, now, no, it wasn't the one that came up. Oh, actual home or, yeah, the actual home of all of those files. Let me reduce this a little to make room downstairs. The actual home of all of those files. Yeah. The next thing I want to show you is we already did this, what we talked about. We did that. We ran a shell command from there. What's the next thing? We have done this one. Let's talk about cron job. Cron job. Cron job. Jenkins. Cron job basically means jobs that you want to automate, jobs that you do repeatedly and you say, man, why am I doing this every 3 o'clock? Or I do it once every day. Let me just automate it so that it happens by itself every 3 o'clock or every 2 o'clock or something. Then it's a cron job. You can configure Jenkins to do that for you. All right, so let's look at this. Let's come in. All right, so Control S, let's go to Jenkins. Let's do a new project, dashboard, and then let's do a new project, call it cron job or anything like that, freestyle. And then, of course, it's always about build. So let's build again. And just scroll down. What source code are we building this time? Yeah, the last one we built is still okay. Are we changing code all of it? We just okay. Give me 1 second to hide this. Hide. So we'll build this code again. So we'll copy the link, and then we'll go to Jenkins and say, clone that for us so that you can build it for us. All right. It's a public repository. We don't need that. And then we're now going to say build it, right? Let's say build it. To say build it, use name. Use this name. All right. And what's the goal? Package. or clean install is the same thing. All right, for that package. All right. What do you want to do after build? For now, nothing. Let's apply. Now, let us introduce Chrome. Now, if we go back to configuration, this is where the Chrome happens. The Chrome job. We are going to see build trigger. Build trigger. Then we see pull SCM. What does that mean? Configure Jenkins to pull. Pull means pull changes in SCM. To pull, is that the first thing we want to do? Is that? Okay. So configure Jenkins to pull changes in SCM. No, this is going to be an expensive operation for CVA. So schedule. Then schedule is basically, let's see what schedule is. So this feed, blah, blah, blah. Where is the stuff? So, okay, you can always read that by yourself, but schedule means 5 stars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What do these asterisks mean? The first one means minutes. Second one means hour. Then day of the month, day of the week. So if I have, did you mean if I have star, 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 star 5 times, I mean every minute of the hour, every hour of the day of the month, every hour, every day of the month, every day of the month, and every day of the week. This basically means repeat this task every minute. That's what it means. All right. But if I said star, then hour, I put 1. Then it means repeat it every 1 hour. But if I do star, star, then under month, there are 12 months, right, in a year. Under month, I put 11. It means repeat this task every 11th month. Then I can now say every 12 o'clock, no, every 30th minute of the hour 12. I mean, I can configure that to mean anything. But in our own case, what we just want to do happen is whatever we are doing, let us do it every minute so that you see the effect. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Do you really mean every minute when you say, look at it here? Even if you forgot, you can copy from here, how to write. Perhaps you mean H, to pull every hour. Okay, so this is another way to do every hour. Just put H there, yeah? And then do 1, 2, 3 for the rest of them. There's no one rigid way. So this is recommending nothing. All right, but of course, we do really mean here that we want this thing to happen every minute, basically. What do we want to happen? The task that we already defined. What was the task? That I should clone the repository and build the code every minute. Let's see. We'll apply, and then we'll say, okay. All right. Let us build the first time, and that's build number 1. Build number 1 is successful. Actually, it means check the repository every minute for change. And anytime you see a change, then do a new build, repeat this action. That's what it means. Because it's no use just doing it repeatedly when nothing is happening. All right, so this is what I have in the note for you. Did I explain that in the note? build trigger. Full SE. Okay. So let's just do it and send the note. So let's wait. So if we wait, nothing is going to happen. Because this system, based on the cron job we just defined, will check the repo once every minute. And anytime there is a change in repo, then it will trigger a new build. As long as there is no change in repo, it will not trigger a new build. Have we waited 1 minute now? Have we convinced ourselves that, yes, 1 minute has passed and nothing happened? Okay, it's 7:40. 7:41, and let's just hold on for another 1 minute, just to tell you that, yes, even though you set the cron job for 1 minute, it is tied to you editing something in the repository. Yeah, I'm sure we voted for 1 minute. So let me, even if we have not voted, let's go to the repository. Is this what we're using? Let's modify something. Modifying the code, like I've said many times, is not restricted to you changing something here. It could also mean that you are introducing a new file or you are deleting an old file. Anything, just anything. What do we want to change here? Which code is this? I don't want to. This one I like to use my code all this and that one. Do not let me add somebody else's code. Okay, I think this is another one. You know what? Let me just add a new file here. So let's create a new file. Or better, we can do it from here, or we'll do it from our local and push it. But we already had an example of push it from local, and we're still going to have many more examples. So we can just do it from here. All right, so we'll say add file, create new file, and call this file what? My new file. Even if there is nothing inside. Even if it contains nothing. It's a file. And then we'll go all the way down and then we'll commit. By committing, we have altered the repository. Now let's check. We have altered the source code manager. So the next minute, this cron job checks the source code manager, is going to say, this was not how I left it. Something has been added, it's different. Then it should trigger a new build. Trigger build number. Awesome. Did you see that? So that is the meaning of, this is part of automation using code. So if it wasn't every minute, because we're in class, we couldn't wait for 30 days. If it was once in 30 days, then every once in 30 days at the appointed hour, that will happen. All right. Any question on that? Any question? We just completed this one.
How about if we want to change it in a different time zone, like London, different in London?
No. It's cron job does not. You saw it now. There are only 5 stars to define. Okay. There's no way you can introduce that complex situation for cron job. So you use other tools that can handle that particular speed.
So all it does is automation, right? If you have a project you want to automate.
Yes, and that's the interview question. Once they ask you, how do you automate? If you mention all the ways and then you don't mention cron job, maybe, of course, you cannot remember everything on that. They'll say, okay, what about cron job? Have you used cron job before for automation? Yeah, so this is a good example to share. It's automation. There's nothing else that it does. It's just automation. Well, automation is not just, it's automation. Automation. All right, so what's the next thing you want to look at? Webhook. Okay, another thing you can do, another way to automate at this level, I'll talk about web. And then you can see the example here. Every minute, can you? We've already covered that. So another way you can do this is, let's go back to cron job. Let's go to build now. No, I didn't mean to build. I meant to configure. And then I go to, don't do it every minute. I want to do webhook. So I'm going to say, oh, yeah, can I take this today? Okay. So I want to say GitHub webhook. What does it mean? So I click GitHub webhook. All right, let me go and show you what it means. We'll go to that repository, and then we'll come here in settings. Are you okay? Any question? Because what I'm going to teach you now, you need concentration to get it. Are you following so far?
Yes, sir.
We're following.
We're following. We're gonna look it up again.
Okay. All right. So we'll come here, and then we'll go to settings, and then we'll go to webhooks. Go to webhooks. All right. So I'm going to delete my existing webhook so I can show you how to do web. What's my password? All right. So settings, webhook. So I say add webhook. It's a more popular way of automating than the Chromebook. So I come here and what is the payload of my Jenkins server? This is my Jenkins. What's the pay? Local host 88. So I come here and I type local host 88. And then I type GitHub, GitHub web hook. All right. So I need to remember this, it's in your notes. So when I type the URL of my Jenkins server, I add this. This is the API through which it's connected. So I add that. That's basically it. The rest is easy. Hi. All right. So after I do that, I come here and I do application JSON. And then I come down. Nothing doesn't look like URL. Yeah, I'll correct it. And then I say add web. That's it. All right. So that's all we have here. So I go there, webhook method, the more common one in operations for automation. So clip webhook, blah, blah, blah. This project is not working. Use the regular one. Okay, so I just configured that. But the big deal, the thing I want to show you here, I can't wait to run into the problem before showing you. Let me just show you right away. Is that for Jenkins server URL, localhost will not work. Localhost will not work. Localhost is not a system that is publicly available. So we need to replace. These are some of the challenges. This is why we don't teach, or many trainers don't use VSCode to teach, but of course we are fun. So we need to replace that localhost with a public IP address that other servers, because at the end of the day, this is your Jenkins server that we are doing CI on. We are going to integrate it with CD in cloud. So even our cloud server should be able to communicate with this Jenkins server because it will be pushing, or basically the artifact that this Jenkins generated for us. We'll push it to a container in cloud. So how does our local host communicate with a container in cloud when it is local to us? It won't work. So the issue now is local host is local. It cannot communicate with a public system in cloud. So the way to do it, to solve that problem, is to give it a public IP address. Now, there may be other ways, but the way that I'm going to show you to generate a public IP address and use it to replace this local host is to use a software, an application that you don't even have to register for, pay for either. It's called ngrok. ngrok. All right, so if you Google that and you say ngrok online, and then you click that, let's go back one step. Then we'll download it for Windows. I hope you can see my screen. So for Windows, or maybe I even have the, I think I already have the, let me see if I have the URL. Okay. So create a free account at enginerock.com. So go to enginerock.com and create a free account. So Control C, and then we'll go there, Control B, and then you create sign up for free. Sign up for free. Once you sign up for free, you're allowed to log in. And then once you log in, you can now download. Can you see me downloading now? Download this app so that it will generate a link for you that you can use as a public URL for your local host. So click this, and then it downloads for me. So I double click this. All right. So this is what I get. All right. So I now go back to my login, and it says your authentication, your auth token. So I come here and I scroll down, command line, I copy this, Control C, I go to that interface, ngrok interface, and I paste there, Control V. All right, I press enter. What does it say? Not recognized, okay? Or let me repeat it. This is very good. So first of all, I downloaded my app, download for Windows. So it downloads to Windows for me. Let me download it. All right. So let me right click. Okay. What am I not doing? It's a command line application. Typing at the terminal. Okay, maybe because it's still valid. The one that I entered last is still valid. So let's say 88. What did I type? Ngrok HTTP. It is. It's not recognized. Okay. I wish I could just clear all of my kitchen. Don't worry. Let's do it. Let me go back. Downloads. So this is the one I've installed it many times. All right. So this is the one I just installed. Let's right click and say extract all. So I do extract all. And then I say extract. Now that I follow the procedure, I've extracted now. This is the result. So I double click this. And then it, and the rest is a command line application. Try typing ngrok at this time. Okay, that's fine. So, but before I do that, okay, let me see. It says try typing that. So let me type this. And just copy, control. All right, works. Yeah, I'll repeat all of this one more time. So, but this is the goal. This is what I came here to pitch. So it has generated an HTTPS URL for me that is corresponding to this. So anywhere I should type localhost.8080, I'm simply going to use this. So I take this one, Control C, and then I use it to replace. I use it to replace where I type localhost here, Control V. So because it's HTTPS, it's now publicly available. So other servers can now communicate with my Jenkins server. So this is, all right. So do that in my webhook. I say add webhook. It will give me the good sign. Okay, let me go and complete first and then come back again. And then once I do that, and then I am done. Have I saved? Let me try one more time. Why is it giving me? Let's see. Did I know? So it should be GitHub stroke webhook. Let's see if I got that pattern. After I download. Okay. There's the GitHub, the configuration part where I have to. So I copy that. Yeah, here. GitHub, oh, hyphen webhook, GitHub hyphen webhook. That's mistakes that I need to correct. So GitHub hyphen webhook, that is the API part that must be correct. So I update and then yeah, update. Where's the caution sign I was showing before? Show it to me again. Still showing caution. Let me edit. Let me test this here. Control C. Let me test to see if it connects to my Control V. Does it connect to my Jenkins? Yeah, it connects to my Jenkins. So the URL is good. And then I do GitHub. Let's check again if I got that right. One more time. GitHub webhook. Is that not correct? Yeah, that's correct. So this will be application JSON. And then so SSL, nothing else active. Okay, so that's good there. That one is correct. Then I scroll down, SSL, just active. Yeah, everything is good there. All right, then I go to my Jenkins, and then I make sure I click this to now hook my Jenkins to the webhook. Apply, okay. All right. So what's the meaning of webhook? Every time there is a change in my Jenkins repository, then it will automatically trigger a build in Jenkins, just like the cron job. That's the meaning of webhook. Just like the cron job. The webhook was successfully updated. All right. So let me go and edit something now and see if it will automatically trigger. Again, that is automation. Okay, so what did we add last time? Let's see. First of all, let me quickly build. Well, this is the job, right? Let me quickly build to make sure our code is in place. Build number 4. Build number 4. Yeah, it's still good. Let's test the automation. So I'm not going to build there manually, but instead I'm going to our repo and I'm going to change something. What should I change here? This is my file that I created earlier. Can I delete it? So let me click it. And then Where can I delete the file? So I come here and I say delete file, and I say comment. So I've altered the repository. What's going to happen now? We're on build number 4. Let's see if it should trigger build number 5. Yes, it triggered build number 5. I didn't touch anything. So that's how webhook works. This is how Jenkins automates. These are the pieces that you are going to put together by the end of DevOps to have a fully functional CI/CD. All right, guys, question time.
Can we go on? Come back to maybe go through it again. I don't know if the class are with that. I don't know if the class are with that, so I don't know if everybody's okay with it or not. We go.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
You said?
We should continue, right?
No, we should go on break.
Yeah, go on a short break. Go on a 10-minute break. Come back. I'll be here. If you have any questions to keep me busy, I'll be here with you. Oh, okay. Let's all go so that the others don't miss the question, the answers.
Okay.
All right. 10
Thank you,
minutes,
sir.
guys. Yeah. All right, guys, welcome back.
You come back.
Yeah. All right, so I think we've learned enough for one day, so we just ask questions. Let's consolidate on what we've learned today.
So, sir, this Neogram and the other one you used before, are they do the same thing or different?
Which one?
This one, is it Neograb or something? Negro, and the other one you used before, is it Chop?
NG Rock.
NG Rock, yeah.
I've not used another one before, like which one?
Just this one you use. That, you know, there are two different things. Like you use this NG Rock and the one you did before that you were showing us that both of them are used for automation.
Webhook and cron job.
Web. But I know you that was what you were doing before you now say let's try this one. It's for both of them are for automation.
Yeah, they are both for automation. So cron job is automation, webhook is automation. Control. So cron job method of automation. That's method 1. And that is where we set our star for every minute. And then method 2 is webhook method of automation. Between the two of them, webhook is the more common. Do you get that? Did you get that? Am I still audible? All right, guys, can anyone hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
We can all hear you.
Me, I can hear you.
So as long as you always can hear me, check your yes. So who can tell me 2 ways to automate your Jenkins project?
Using cron job and then using webhooks.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct. That's the question the other person was asking. So what's the difference between using, what's the difference in results between them? Or where would you use cron job and where would you prefer to use webhook? Yeah, anybody? Meanwhile, revising. So that questions are coming from you or they are coming from me. So yeah, that's my question.
Yeah, we can use cron jobs to automate jobs. Jobs that tasks that we need to automate, whether every minute, hour, month, or year.
Okay.
Yeah, cron job is good for that.
Okay. Now, where would we use webhook? Yeah, any other person? Where do we use webhook? Where would webhook become handy to use for automation? Under what circumstances? So when we need the job to build, or we need the project to build, or we need a new job whenever something changes in the codes. That's when we use webhook.
Can you take that again, sir, please?
But we need a new build to happen every time something changes in the code. And by the code, I hope you understand that when I say code, I'm talking about all of this. I'm talking about this entire repository. The code doesn't have to be a particular file or anything happens here. Now I've explained that many times. What can happen here? I can take a file and modify it. I can add a new file like we did with one file that we added earlier on. I can delete whatever happened. So when I need a new build to happen every time a code changes, then I use webhook. However, if I do not necessarily need a new build, okay, that's the general interpretation of cron job. Let me redefine it different from the general definition as it applies to Jenkins. The first person was correct. So cron job will be, I need Jenkins to check the codes periodically. Then I'll use cron job. But I do not need Jenkins to check the codes periodically for change. I just need Jenkins to build a new artifact anytime and every time the job changes. So on one part, Jenkins is listening. Has there been a change? Has there been a change? On the other part, he says, well, I don't care. Anytime a change happens, they will let me know. Then I will do what So the part that listens every minute or every day or every hour, let me go and check. Is there a change? Let me go and check. Is there? That is cron job. But the part that says, you know what? I'm not bothered about whether there's a change or not. Anytime there's a change, they will alert me by themselves. That is work. So in both cases, in the case of the examples we just considered, in both cases, what happens? What's the goal? What's the end result? Whether we are deploying automation in the form of cron job or in the form of webhook, what happens? What's the goal? Now, maybe I'm not asking that the way you understand. The goal is to build a new artifact. All right. So you ask questions then. If you still don't ask questions, I have questions.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just want to ask if you can just please go through the adding of a web hook one more time. That would be awesome.
Okay, yeah. Let's do that one more time. So webhook. So let's go. So there are two paths to deploy webhook. Can you see my screen? One will be in Jenkins. One path you do in Jenkins, and the other part you do in GitHub. So let's do the GitHub part first. So for this project, which in fact, let's do a new project completely. So let's build a new project. I hope you can see my screen. And then we'll call this automation 2, the freestyle project. And then we're going to say, what would this project do? It should clone our repo. And then after I close our repo, for once, answer this question. What does it do with the repo? What should it do with the repo?
You build it and create an artifact.
Build it. You should build it. That's it. All right. Thank you. So that's the part that clones the repo. All right. Who can help me add the part that builds the repo? Will be here. Build step. Invoke top level Maven, then package. So that is the part that builds the repo. All right, that's all we need. Just clone and build. We are done. So for that project to execute webhook, two paths, like I said. One part, you go to the repository, central repo, you go to settings, you go to webhooks. All right, let's delete this one. Now I can set up new. So you go to webhooks, you are going to see nothing there. We'll say add webhook. All right. If we use our local repo here, it will not be able to communicate with servers, other servers in cloud, not be able to, it will not be on the public network. So what we want to do is add something that has HTTPS so that you will be able to communicate with other servers. But this is Jenkins. This is where our artifact is. So our SonarQube, our JCube, our container, our all servers, our controller node, our Ansible should be able to communicate with it. So it is not enough to isolate it by putting localhost. We need a public IP address or a public URL that will make it accessible. So an app to help us do that is ngrok. It will generate a public URL that makes this one accessible. We will load our ngrok, we download that, create an account, download this, and that was all we did when we had this. All right. And then let's see, this is still valid. So if I copy this now and say, oh, okay, no, let's do it from scratch so that I know how to do it. All right, so I download this. So after I download, it goes to my download folder. Do you see it now? This is the 8th time I'm downloading. Are you seeing it?
Yes.
All right. So I right click it and I say, extract or extract. All right. And then I say extract. And then that is generated for me. It's an executable file. Executable file ends with exe or .com. These days, mostly with exe, executable. Executable file means simply double click me and I'll do for you what I'm prepared to do. I'll just double click and then to open this window. All right. Ngrok is a command line application, blah, blah, blah. All right. And it says, type this terminal. So let me try this. Control. I don't need to copy and paste, I just right click here. And because I'm using port 8080 in my own case, not port 80, so I'm going to enter 8080. In other words, generate the equivalent for me that I will use to access port 8080. All right, of course, error. This account is limited to one simulation in Ngrok hidden session. Yeah. Active Ngrok session. All right, so I'm using free accounts. All of this is just marketing to make me do paid account. All right, no problem. No problem. So let me close this session. What do I need to close just to? All right. So let me try one more time. So I go back to downloads, and the one I extracted, what did I get? I don't remember where. Okay. So extract all, extract. I already have one extracted. So what are you? Okay, right there. So I double click. Okay. Actually, I expect it to give me, this is just happening to me because I've been using this so many times. I expect it to tell me to enter my authentication. That's the normal thing it should tell me. But
you actually used port 80 the last time and it gave you the option of 8080.
No, I use port 8080. It will always be 8080. But let's do it again. We'll see this. All right, let's double click this. Or rather, let me extract. Extract all. Extract. Okay, replace. And then I double click the extract. This is not what you will get. You will get authenticate this terminal before you can start to use it. And then you will now need to log into your ngrok account. That was why you created the account in the first place. So you go to your auth token, and then you copy this token. You already know what token is. It's like a password, Control-C, and then you go back to that ngrok terminal. Where are we? And then you paste that there and press enter. Then it says auth token saved to your configuration. Now you can start to use. So this is what you should get. All right. So now that your authentication is saved and you're allowed to use this terminal, you can now type ngrok.exe for port 8080. So I just copy that and paste here, and I say port 80. 80 is already showing, so I just add another 80, and I press enter. All right. So it generates this link for me, saying that from now on, instead of using the local host 8080 that you have been using, which the world cannot access, you can now use this to replace that. So I copy this out, Control-C, and this is what I now use in my webhook here. I come here and say Control-V. Well, this is just to my Jenkins. To connect this with webhook, I must add this other part to this link. And this part is GitHub-webhook. All right, so I make sure I have that full link. And then under content, I just click application JSON. Under secret, I leave every other thing, and I say add webhook. That's it. So I have completed the part, and then that sign comes up to tell me it's valid. This webhook has never been triggered, but it's not showing the caution sign that it showed there. All right, so this is the part that I complete on the GitHub. I told you there are two parts. So I go to the project that I want to automate with this webhook. In this case, this is the project. And then I click configure for the project. And then I go all the way down to build trigger. What should trigger the build? The build should be triggered. That is, every new build should happen using webhook. Using webhook means anytime something changes in this environment, in my repository, then the new build should happen. So I apply, and I see it's done. It's already active. These are the two. All right, to test whether it is active, let me alter. So, normally we'll come here and say build, but this time we are not building manually. We want a commit here to trigger the build here. We'll come here and do a commit. You can show me one way to do commit. Yes, you can show me. You can share.
By adding a file?
Yeah, that's one way. That's what we've been doing. Any other way? I want to try something else.
We can edit the README file.
Okay, yeah, good. So I edit any file. In this case, maybe this. You can just add something. So we'll click edit, and then we'll say, okay, let's go to the top, for example. And then we'll say, yeah, we just edited something. So comments. We have changed something there. So we'll come here and we'll wait and expect that it triggers a build. Yes, it has triggered a build. There was no build before. Now it is building code into your artifact. and then it was successfully completed. That's why you had it. All right, so that's how webhook works. You get it?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. Now, with webhook now, excuse me. So our project is divided into two. We have the part of the training that we call CI, and then the other part that we call CD. Something is missing here. What's missing? What's missing? Let me load pens. Let's see. Pens. Okay. So so the project is CI/CD, building pipelines. There's this part of the project where everybody contributes to a central repo. And then you connect to the central repo and you pull the codes from the central repo and you build it into an artifact. That's what we have done today. All right, using Git, Maven, coordinated by Jenkins. Of course, you have your Java installed as well. All right, and then the dashboard, the environment, the GUI through which you do all of this, coordination. It's your Jenkins dashboard, where we are now. So the minute, not exactly so, but usually, after you have built your artifact and your artifact is ready, loosely so, sometimes depending on the organization, you may want to go through testing. Then we say that you have done your CI. This whole part is called continuous integration. All right. So once your artifact is ready, you have completed your CI. The next thing you want to do is to take your artifact, set up your machine or your infrastructure or your VPC in cloud, create containers within your machine, and deploy that infrastructure to your container in cloud. So this part of the project is called continuous deployment, CD. All right, so we have CI, CD. So it is on this part that we talk about containers. And of course, you already know what happens within cloud. With your AWS, you already know what happens in cloud, how you can set up infrastructure and secure and manage them, and how you can go into those infrastructure and use Linux to manage them. All right. So what makes this CI now is the part that you just complete. We have now seen that once if we are all connected to the same repo, once any of us on that CI commits, you know what commit is? Pushes code to the repo, then that triggers, like we have seen with webhook now. It triggers a reaction that will ultimately result in a new build. So the fact that an action here triggers things to happen within here and results in a new build, that is called continuous integration. That's the meaning of continuous integration. Continuous, it never stops. Every time there is a new build, every time there's a commit, it results in a new build. There's a commit, it results in a new build. There's a new commit, it results in a new build. There's a new commit, so on and so forth. It continues. Continue. New commit, new build. New commit, new build. And then there's this other part too, that will be every time there's a new build, there's a new deployment to container. New build, new deployment, new build, new deployment, new build. So together they will form that infinite circle, infinity sign that you saw. Continuous integration, continuous deployment. All right, CI, CD. We want to automate this whole process of a change in code resulting through all of these steps for a change in production. Why do we call this production? Because this is the server that serves our 1 million customers. We're working for Google. This is the server that they see. We may also have servers here, server 1, server 2, server 3. Maybe we'll call this server development server. Maybe we'll call this one test server. Maybe we'll call this one QA server. All of them are staging. It's not the production. They're just staging environment, just like the production, but we are doing all kinds of tests, all kinds of analysis, all kinds of correction, all kinds of meeting best practice requirements. Just like this environment is just like this environment. The only difference is just that what we have here is not publicly available. Nobody is seeing what we have here. It's only when Elon Musk comes to the company and say, now our product is ready, we want to launch it, and everybody is gathered. The whole world is watching. That is when we now release this pipe to flow into production. And the first person is able to connect and is able to browse, and everybody, hey, we have launched, we are live now. We have always been live in this environment, but not public. We've been live here for 3 years, testing, making mistakes, correcting, getting feedback from the mistakes, building all over, pumping to operations. In this case, it's operations, but not the live operation, therefore not good. All right. So, yes, questions?
Yes, sir. Question, please.
Yeah.
I noticed since we started DevOps, we have not been to the AWS console.
Yes, that's the important. No, we've been there now. Are you? Is this your first class?
No, I don't remember being there.
Last week we were there now.
Last week we were there.
Last week. We used the.
What did we do there, please?
We set up. Yeah.
Go on. Micro storage, so it didn't run the active app the way we wanted it. So
no, we did everything. We did everything. We set up everything we did today. We completed it in cloud. The station was, in fact, the first contribution in class today was, can we repeat everything we did in cloud last week? Can we do it from this VSCode today from scratch? And that was what we did today. So last week we set up a fresh EC2, and then we built it to Jenkins level, and we actually used it to run. We ran some of this. Let me show you.
Yeah, it was the IP that we used to run it globally. That we used to automate it. Remember, it kept on going. If you watch your class for last week, you will see that Professor Akin goes to AWS space several times to pick up the IP address when it's connecting it, when it's connecting everything together. I didn't start with.
No, I did not even. I don't. Or am I confusing this class with another class? We did not even use VSCode at all last week.
At all, we didn't go to VSCode. All we did
mobile
everything in cloud.
Mobile SL and
mobile SL is cloud. It's just a terminal to access cloud. It's not different.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yes. I was the one asking that you should use VSCode. I mean, like today class. That was
exactly. So that's why we use VSCode today purely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we
correct.
But to answer that question, though,
just check
No, I'm sure he had, if he was in class, he would remember now. But let me quickly show you something. Where's that my drawing? So the beauty of this work now, what we are doing today, is that we have separated the whole CI/CD into two. All right. You see this demarcation that I wasn't sure exactly where to put, but let's just say, okay, let's put it here. There's not a straight line. Give me one second. All right. So the beauty of this work now is that this part of the work you can do on your local system. And this part of the work you can do in cloud. Unlike the previous example where everything was in cloud. This is the beauty. And you may not have experienced it, but it's so beautiful to have access to your local system, access to your files, access to everything, and be able to work. It's so beautiful compared to having to set up everything from scratch every time you go to cloud. Unless you want to leave your EC2 permanently on in cloud and be built every month. No matter how much you try to avoid paying, you must listen. All right. So the whole idea of CI is that we want to do our CI on our local system and do our CD in cloud. But now that we are familiar with CI, we know exactly what CI is, and we have completed CI on our local system. We are now going into cloud to begin to set up all of these servers and deploying our artifact, which is the end result of our CI to cloud. So if you did not notice, you now begin to notice that from now on, we'll be working in cloud, setting up this infrastructure and deploying our artifact to that. But the point here that is really, really pleasing for me, you may not understand why, is that we are able to do the CI part of this whole thing from our local system, from our local host. Yes. So you see more of us going to cloud now because we'll now start the deployment. We're going to deployment now. I mean, not necessarily now, but shortly. Now that we have an artifact that will be deployed, we'll go into deployment. Anytime we talk about deployment, it's always cloud. You cannot deploy locally to your system. I mean, your system does not have the resources to withstand 2 million customers or subscribers trying to access that application. So it has to be cloud. All right. Yes, more questions.
Question. So are you aware of AWS service that can be used totally for the CD part? Like I think I came across something that talks about container management service on AWS. Are you aware of something like that, so that we will not have to set up EC2s, then Docker, then Kubernetes for many containers? We only just access that service, like a software as a service on AWS that will take care of the CD part. Are you aware of that?
Yeah, we've discussed that in class now. I would not be aware. I'm a DevOps engineer. So we discussed that in class where, I mean, was it not in this class where Yomi was saying that he experienced the situation where all of these were built completely in cloud, and I was saying just a click of a button compared to this. Maybe not in this class. Yes, everything, was it in this class? Maybe not. But don't worry. Yeah, maybe we have some. Yeah. So to answer your question, yes, everything we are doing now is the, please, I'm echoing somewhere. If you see it, please. Mute yourself. Okay, let me see if I can draw that. So for JIT, what are the tools that we need for DevOps? We need JIT, right? we need GitHub. I mean repository, GitHub. We need Docker Hub. Have we talked about Docker Hub? Okay, we'll do it. We need Jenkins. We need Maven. So for each of these tools, all of the cloud providers have their own managed tool within their cloud that represent Git, that represent GitHub, that represent this. So I can go to AWS and use I've not used those terms in a while, but they have terms that are the equivalent of this. And the same thing for especially Azure. Azure is so friendly, just like you're using Microsoft Word. So yes, AWS has its own set of tools, its own JIT, but it's not called JIT. Its own, even its own VS Code. That is own VS Code equivalent for manage. That one they call Cloud9.
Yeah.
So all of this has their equivalent. Anyway, forgive me. I've not looked at them anymore. So to answer your question, yes, everything we are learning now is global, is general to DevOps, irrespective of where we find ourselves, we can use them. But at some higher level, you may be specific to using the equivalent of this within AWS environment, which is harder. Are you going to understand it? This is mere click of buttons. Anytime you hear managed service, it means that all of the setting up that we are doing here, going to cloud, setting up this is already done for us. All we are just doing is click button, click like we are doing PowerPoint. So this is twice easier than doing this one. And then, of course, for Azure, for Google Cloud, we are going to do Google Cloud in the last class. They also have their equivalent for each of these. So yes, it is true, and it exists, and it is very easy. However, your understanding of this general one is what makes this one really, really easy. Your understanding of this general one. So interviews, because you never know where the job is going to come from, interviews will be more about these general tools. Of course, you've seen some interview job descriptions, so you have seen all of these tools. It's more about these general tools. And then once you know these general tools and you can use them well, irrespective of where you are adapting them, whether in Azure or in Google Cloud, it will be really, really easy because it's just a click on those.
Thank you, sir. That's good to know.
Yeah. So what I intend to do later, maybe by mid next year, is after all of these courses in DevOps and everybody's happy, we'll just introduce another 1 week, just 1 week. It's not up to 1 month because it's really, really easy. Another 1 week of extended DevOps class just to go into AWS and see the equivalent of all of these tools in AWS. In 4 hours, you know everything, not even 1 week. And how we can just click this, click this, click this, and then everything will just happen. Yeah. So these people, we call them DevOps engineers. These people, we call them AWS DevOps engineers. So they must add the term AWS to say that you are not only a general DevOps engineer, you are now also able to use AWS specific tools, managed tools to deploy this same thing. Yeah. Yes. Did that help?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Questions, please. So you have 5 minutes. Okay. So what is CI? What do we understand? In CI/CD, what does the term CI mean?
CI stands for continuous integration.
Okay.
And CD stands for continuous deployment.
Yeah, or continuous delivery. So what does continuous integration mean? Anybody? In DevOps, what does continuous integration mean?
We run the code, build it.
Yeah. Was somebody explaining something?
Yeah, where we run the code and build it and test it before deployment.
Is continuous integration not the same thing as continuous? I mean, I don't know. I thought it's the same thing.
Okay. All right. Any other explanation for continuous integration?
That it's a process of automating the build and testing of code whenever there's changes in the version control system.
Yeah, that is perfect. But you're not reading that from somewhere. Are you sure you didn't read it? I wanted to hear it naturally from you. That was too slow.
I just read it from the manual.
Okay, from the manual that you wrote.
Well,
no, that was perfect though, but it didn't sound natural. I wanted to hear it natural, but the definition is perfect. I like the use of the terms. Automation, you are mentioning, you just covered every part of it. You talked about build, you talked about automation, you talked about, yeah. The only reason I was hesitant was it looks like something that was, anyway, good. Yes, continuous integration. Yeah, that was perfect enough. So it can be better than that, unless you want to help us with continuous deployment. What does continuous deployment mean? Okay, don't worry because we have not even covered it. The person that was saying he thought continuous integration meant the same thing as what? What did you say? What did you mean? That it meant the same thing as what? Let's
Me, I just want to explain you because you ask of continuous integration. I just want to give an input. I don't know.
So I think I was mixing it up with continuous delivery. I think that was what I was mixing it up with.
Okay.
Because I was equating continuous delivery and continuous deployment. I guess it's the way I wrote it. That was how I was.
Yes, they are slightly different, but we've not talked about the difference. Yeah. I will explain what the difference is. Right now, I need us to, because we haven't even started deployment, so let's just focus on CI so that I know that you understand everything CI, then we can now move to CD. Yes, the person that I cut short, I wanted to make contribution.
Yeah, it's
sorry about that.
Yeah. In my home view, I just think that continued integrations in DevOps means the regular mergers of the code into a central repository, after which the automated build and tests are run.
Yeah, okay. So basically the same thing, yeah. Basically the same thing. So, okay, so do I take it that everyone now understands the meaning of continuous integration? Maybe not yet, but by the time you look at the note and you practice, but the definitions that I've had so far, they are really good ones. It just shows me that at least some of you understand it. All right, guys, that's all for today. So next time we are going back to the note to continue from project 1 of this. Yeah. We'll just do 1 or 2 more freestyle projects and then we'll go into pipeline. This is the heart of Jenkins, declarative pipeline. All right, not trying to scare you, but once we were able to come in here and we're able to write 2, 3 working pipelines, then we're comfortable with Jenkins and then we'll move on to deployment. All right, so we'll continue from here. Next week.
Hello, sir. Good evening. Sorry to hold you down a little bit. In the CLI VSCode, when you want to change it to directives, CD, the directory you want to go into, how do you do it like a shortcut? You hardly punch in all the letters and everything just come on.
Oh, okay. So if I do CD ls minus l, if I want to do CD
DevOps project,
CD,
yeah.
So I'll just type where's DevOps? No, I'm seeing there's no CD project, for example, right? Can you see project
DevOps,
1? Are you seeing my screen?
Yeah, I see that project 1, yeah.
So I just type the first letter, capital P, then I press tab.
Oh, I see. Okay, thank you, sir.
You're welcome. So you know that could not have been my typing, right?
Yeah.
Type first letter and then tab. But capital P is not the same thing as small p. So if you type small p and tab, it will not work. It has to be the first. All right.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
That's a very good one, Daminari. That's a cool.
Sir.
Yeah. All right. So that's about it. Please watch the videos from video one because we are going higher and higher. So watch the video so that I can have a good foundation to understand pipeline as code. Pipeline as a code. Thank you, guys. We'll see you on the. Did I say next week? No. What's today?
Tuesday.
Today is
Today's
Tuesday.
Tuesday. So we'll see you on Thursday.
Yeah, do we have the class on Thanksgiving, 24th?
We always have classes. Yes, we do.
Okay, great. All right. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Bye, everyone.
Sir, thank you, sir. Good night, sir.
Bye.